Good to see everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. A little bit different. Obviously, I think we're getting used to it, but kind of miss seeing everybody in person. Joe, I know I'll get a chance to see you here in a little bit, but just coming off of a tough game for us. Obviously, you have such high expectations. Every time you come into a season, and my expectations were, I think, even higher. For our group, based on the way we've worked for these past month and a half, 2 months since football's really started up again for us, and we've had the opportunity to get out there and practice. I've been so proud of our team and the way that we compete every single day, how important practice is to us, and just the improvements that I've seen in our program, and really felt great going into the game, and thought we got off to a really good start. Obviously, came out with the surprise kick, and executed the kick really well. Unfortunately, we were a little overeager, and we're offsides on the play, and lost it, but ended up kicking off, and they had a great return. But our defense responded exceptionally well, forced a field goal. Our offense was able to come out, drive down the field, convert a 4th down in our own territory, and eventually score a touchdown. And it was such an incredible start to the game, and I felt that we continued that momentum on the offensive side of the ball, throughout the majority of the first half. And unfortunately, defensively, we gave up some plays. We gave up a couple drives, and then there at the end of the half and beginning of the third quarter, they scored 3 touchdowns in 4 plays defensively for us, and that was tough. And I think for me, that was the moment that obviously we needed to avoid. But when it does happen, that's the moment where you really look to see how are you going to respond. How am I going to respond personally? How are our coaches going to respond? How are our players going to respond? And I think that's where we can improve. That's where we can improve. We didn't respond to that situation as well as I really anticipated us doing. And and I think maybe I was a little bit overzealous in that. Again, we have a very young team, and it's the first time we've really faced real adversity, in terms of what's happening on the football field. And I know we've spent a lot of time, after the game, immediately after the game, and then also yesterday, discussing that and just discussing our response and discussing all of those things from just the mental toughness standpoint, and being able to deal with that and respond, most importantly. So I anticipate us continuing to grow in those areas, and we had a fantastic practice today. Yesterday was more of a walkthrough, kind of make some corrections, watch the film, things like that. Operating on a short week. This week, we had to get out there. It was our Tuesday practice, and we cut back just a little bit, to help some legs and some guys that are banged up, whatever the case is. But we talked about coming out, and it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be competitive as any practice we've ever been a part of. And our team responded really well. We worked some great situations in the practice, and got our base down installs in, and had a great day. So feel great about our team and the way we responded to the setback this past week, and look forward to another day getting back out there with them tomorrow.
So, no questions if you'd like.
Hey, Coach, real quick, where did you find Tion Dollard? And it looked like your running game got a very quick injection of credibility this year.
We have a long way to go in the run game. I think, we ran the ball better, in the first half alone than I think we ran it all last year. So, that was really encouraging. And, I think obviously, Tion has been a great addition to our team. Moving Boogie back to running back has really helped us as well. He's a slippery guy, and he always seems to find a way to make that first guy miss. And So it's been exciting. But I think also I think we got to give credit to our offensive line, and our tight ends. It's a group that I feel we've definitely made some improvements in both of those positions as well. And for our offensive line, as young and inexperienced as they are, to be able to come out, and run the football, as effectively as we did, particularly early in the game against a very good defensive front, I think was really encouraging for us, and something that we have to build on, and we have to continue to get better at. And if we can do that, I think it's going to open up some more things for us, in the passing game as well.
Defensively, what do you have to do to eliminate those explosive plays? Because looking back on it, that's what probably stuck a dagger in you early on. Those huge passes.
Yeah, and I think, first and foremost, Western Michigan has got some really good wide receivers. I mean, they got some really good players just in general, but, number 24, number 1, number 11, like, those guys are really good, and, great players, make plays in games. I mean, that's kind of what you expect. And, we knew we had to be really aware of that, and, did some things to take away some of the things that I think they wanted to do to the field. And, it kind of exposed us a little bit in the back, on the backside. And, we just got to play with better fundamentals, better technique, and, had some eye discipline issues where we're, looking at the quarterback, and instead of that just being a completion tackle, we end up losing sight of where the wide receiver is, and he takes it the distance. So those are the things that we've got to continue to improve in. But definitely explosive plays are such an important factor in success as a team, and we gave up too many defensively, and didn't have enough on offense.
Next question, if anybody has one.
I'll keep going as long as you stop, until you stop me.
Go ahead, George, unless somebody else wants to have one.
In the Bobcats, what do you see on both sides of the ball?
I think what you'd expect, from a Coach Solich, Coach Solich team. They are a big, tough, physical group. They play smart. They're well coached, and I think that's reflected in how they play and the success that they've had over a number of years. And certainly had a tough game this past week, and again another really close game for them. You look at last season. I think they played in 6 games that were decided by 7 points or less. 4 of those games were 3 points or less. And then again they go out open the season and lost a tough one by 3 points to Central. So again they're a good football team. I think offensively they're a unit that really prides itself on running the ball well. They have a couple quarterbacks now that they're playing, and they're a little bit different and do some different things with each of them in the game. So having some awareness as who's in the game, who's behind center for them this week is going to be really important for us defensively to be aware of. Offensively, again, they're going to come up and challenge you. Their corners are going to come up and play bump and run, and they're going to force you to make some plays. They're always going to try to get an extra guy in the box in the run game and really make running the football difficult. So we need to have a great plan to handle that, and going to have the ability to win some one-on-one matchups on the outside. And special teams wise, again, we kind of Coach Hurd reminded our team this morning in our special teams meeting, this is a really good group, and they were a really good group last year, and we really challenged our team to match and exceed their intensity. And we thought we did a good job of that last year in the kicking game. And it's going to take that same type of effort, this week. They have an excellent returner, from a kickoff return standpoint. And that was an area that the first two kicks that we had of the game, we didn't do a great job covering. So I'm sure they're going to they're going to be excited for that. They had one return for a touchdown to open the second half last week. So I think their returners averaging over 50 yards per return right now. So that's an area where we gotta pay very close attention and be really sharp. Understand what our lanes are, and understand how we need to attack and take on blocks and different parts of our coverage unit.
It's a very small sample at this point, but are there any differences you see without them, with that offense, without Nathan Rourke?
Well, Nathan.
Brother playing now.
Sure, yeah. Nathan was such a exceptional player. He really enjoyed watching him play. Throughout the season. Anytime we had crossover games, where we had a chance to watch OU's offense, and I enjoyed watching him. I have a lot of respect for him, and he certainly made so many great plays for them and made that offense go last year. But they're a great program, and they're a successful program, and in programs like that, there's always that next guy. There's always somebody ready to step in, and in this case, it's Nathan's little brother, and and a transfer quarterback who has a lot of ability in terms of his ability to run the football, especially. So it'll be it's different, certainly, but I think when you look at it, they're still a very good football team and still present a number of challenges for us that we're going to have to practice really well for.
As I understand it, from what I've been able to figure out from looking at, reading about their first game, Rourke is more of a passer than his brother ever was, and the other quarterback is more of a runner. Does that necessarily telegraph in your mind what they're going to do offensively when those guys switch out?
Well, I think it maybe a little bit. Like I said, there are some differences in how they play, and even some of the formations they get into. Depending on which quarterback is in the game. But I think OU is still a run. They're a run first team. They're a program that I think I have a lot of respect for in terms of how they run the football, and what they do with their offensive line, and the big physical group that they are. And you look at that game, and it was a high scoring game, and you had some 2-minute drive at the end, and at the end of the day, Rourke still, I think he had 19 attempts in that game. And so I think that tells you, they really want to run it, ideally, which I think we all do, and just you hope that you have the ability to do that. But, they are certainly more than capable of dropping back and hurting you, passing the football. And I think that's what makes them so difficult to defend is, you can really, put a lot of emphasis. You can find yourself putting a lot of emphasis on the run game, but they have the ability to hurt you throwing it as well. So it's going to take a complete effort from our defensive unit.
Last
Coach,
question for me.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Coach, you gave Zach Gibson the start. How would you assess his performance and the decision making he had throughout the game?
I thought for the most part, he played really well, and I definitely saw a lot of progress in his development. Since last year in total. There were some plays that he made some poor decisions on. Certainly, the turnover, was not a great play. It was just a mistake. He really just passed up. The third receiver in his progression, got straight to number 4, and just made a mistake. And that's part of football. But all in all, I thought he played pretty well. There were a couple instances, late in the second quarter, and in the third quarter where I felt that he started to press a little bit. Kind of felt the game going a certain way, and really tried to make a few plays happen that really probably weren't there. Whether it was just being aggressive with some throws, or RPO decisions that he was making, and that's where Zach's going to continue to grow, and we've already seen that growth in him But he's just going to get better in that way. But I thought he made some great throws. I thought he made some big conversions on third down, and thought he managed the game really well. Again, especially in that first half, and he responded well to the adversity when he did throw the interception that was returned on us. He had the right mindset, and he came back to the sideline, and it was about the next play. There was no dwelling on what just happened. It was a situation where he was focused on what was upcoming, and at that point, that's all you can do. There's nothing we can do. We can't go back and take that throw back. It happened. It was important, but now what are we going to do about it? And I thought he really displayed great toughness in that regard.
Go ahead, George.
What's Cato's status going to be for the game? Any shot of him playing?
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting closer every week, and it's not necessarily his ability to make throws. It's more just kind of getting him back to to being ready to play. He's missed a lot of practice, and as we're going through a pretty intense quarterback battle in training camp, it's hard to divide up those reps. You kind of knew Cato wasn't going to necessarily be ready for the opener, and you're trying to figure out, all right, is it Zach or TJ? And you got Cato as many reps as he could tolerate physically, but also being very conscious of what you had to do to get those two other guys ready to go and figure out who we were going to start. So now we're really at that point where we're able to get him some more work, and for him it's just it's being able to to stay warm and to stay loose throughout the course of practice, and obviously game day. And for me, I feel fortunate. I've kind of lived through some of those things, and I know after I had surgery after my sophomore year, my junior year, there was not a moment at practice, there was not a moment on the sideline of any game that I wasn't throwing, because if I took 2 minutes and my arm, my arm would tighten up. And it's just going to get tougher as the weather changes and it gets colder. So try to share some of those experiences with Cato, and what it's going to take to really manage and get himself to a place where he is going to be a viable option for us.
TJ got his bell rung the other night, didn't he? Is he going to be okay?
Yeah, he did. He did. He's such a tough kid and so competitive, and obviously he wasn't feeling great, after the game. But he came in. Actually, I saw a couple of the guys, as we were getting ready to get going on Monday, and I asked Boogie, if he had talked to TJ at all. He's like, yeah, I checked in on him this morning, and he was watching film. He went back home with his mom and dad after the game, and he's at home watching tape. And sure enough, he came in. He was feeling great. Was in all our meetings and asking great questions, and same thing today. So he's doing very well. He's doing very, very well considering kind of the injury that that took place, the collision, I should say, that occurred on Wednesday night. So we'll see. He's kind of day by day, and we'll see how he's feeling tomorrow. But he's in a great progression, and if things continue to go well, then I think there's a good chance that he'll be available.
Norm, go ahead.
Yeah, Norm Weber, StNordEagles.com.
How you doing, Norm?
Hey,
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just wanted to ask some questions, if I may, about some specific players. You mentioned something about the offensive line, blocking and making the run game go on the tight ends and all that. I noticed a couple of the St. Ed's guys did get in on the offensive line, and it's fair to say you're looking for the winning combination. Could they be seeing more action as well, or?
Absolutely. You're referring to Ronan Chambers and Caleb Herring, obviously, and both those guys have done a great job for us. Caleb has been fantastic. He's starting for us right now on our field goal team. Does a great job with that. He's been last season was one of our best guys, working the practice squad for the defense, and he's in the two deep, right now, as is Ronan. Ronan has been, one of the really exciting young freshmen in our program. And just seeing, we knew, Ronan obviously missed his junior year, had a great senior year. And, we really felt great about Ronan. And we're really excited, when he committed to us and when he signed. And he has, certainly lived up to all the hope that we have, and I think in many ways exceeded, some of the expectations, we've had for him, particularly as of late. These last couple weeks, Ronan has really proven that, we can count on him. If we get into that situation and, we need Ronan to go in and play for us, I don't think anybody is going to have any, any reservations about what he's going to be able to do. So we're very excited about both those young guys, and, obviously having Cole Guest in the program is awesome for us, and got a Nate Simon and Nick DeTore as well. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving out any other Eagles, but we're excited. We're excited. I know it's the rival for me, but they're one of the best programs in the state, and as long as they're extremely well coached, and as long as we can keep getting guys from those types of programs with that type of pedigree and coaching background, I think we're going to be all right.
Joe, go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Coach, I'm not an E guy, but can you talk about Owen Murphy a little bit then?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk about those Ignatius guys. But yeah, no, Owen, again, has been so impressive to us, and throughout this camp. And I think you go back and you look at the summertime and Coach Mack's arrival, our strength coach, and really challenged Coach Mack in terms of the development of our offensive linemen, and our defensive linemen, but especially the O linemen, knowing how young we are and how much bulk and strength we need to add. And that group in general was probably our best group. It was the group that improved the most, and that Coach Mack was most impressed with once we finished up our summer program. And of all those guys, Owen Murphy, was one of the, most outstanding, one of the hardest working guys, one of the guys that, really added a lot of bulk and added a lot of strength, really started moving a lot better, more athletic. And it's, I think, shown in, how he's been playing. We really are excited about Owen. We think he's going to be a great player in our program. I mean, you look at it, the experience he's going to get this season, and be able to come back, next year and still have 4 years of football to play is pretty, pretty remarkable. And I think he's definitely, definitely going to be a good one for us.
Do we want one final question at all?
Yeah, Coach, can you talk about Corey Smeagol? Looks like you found your kicker, field goals.
Yeah, Corey was really proud of him on Wednesday. Getting out there and kicked two big kicks for us. Very meaningful points of the game, and was able to go out there and and be clutch. And those were into the wind. It wasn't a crazy wind, but it was enough to affect you, especially that the 41-yarder that he hit. The first field goal that we had. To go down by 6, and that was a big time kick. I'm really proud of the way Corey's worked. He's trained, really well over the past year, and certainly in his fundamentals and technique, and of kicking the football, but also in the weight room. Corey's a leader in our program. He's a member of our Players Association. That his team voted him to be on that council, and he does a great job for us, and he's a fun guy to be around. He talks a lot of trash to me. I think actually today, I don't know what he was talking about, but something about golf, like I'd have no shot, and if I played him in golf, and something about his athleticism, and he's probably one of the best athletes on the team, considering his soccer background, and all these other things. So it's fun. It's fun messing with him, and I think he's got the right mentality and the mindset that you look for in a kicker. Like, he's not a guy that I'm afraid to try to get in his head a little bit, and try to mess with him, and spray a little water on the ball, spray a little water in his face, as he's trying to kick one. And you know, he takes it. He takes it all, and I think he lives for it. And you know, when you got a kicker like that you know you can put him out there in any situation, in any moment, and you know, he's gonna go out there, be focused, and do his job. You know, I think is a great feeling to have, and we're excited about Corey, and you know, hope he continues to progress as we've seen so far.